Anthony asked me to join him here this morning just to give him a bit of courage. Just to introduce Ethos, who we are. We're a young company, 11 years old, 70 staff, so we're probably one of the biggest M&E consultants now in Ireland. Just the sectors we're in, fit-outs, mixed-use developments, commercial, healthcare, retail, industrial developments, very much data centres. So it's M&E, our building simulation lead, Brianne, and BIM is very much part of our culture from the start. Just our vision and mission, we want to be the company people want to work for and with, and to provide sustainable solutions to built environment. We're probably learning all the time. We're doing a few things right. Just got a little bit of recognition over the last couple of years. We're Fit Out Consultant of the Year in 2014. We're the current Consultant of the Year for the Irish construction industry. And last autumn we won the Best Employer with the Chartered Institute of Building Service Engineers for the UK and Ireland. And we also we're the Irish member of a European network, which we use to share a lot of our BIM knowledge. What we've done over the last number of years, done 500 megawatts of data centres, 300 health care beds, 3,000, a lot of them in Saudi. We've good cancer care experience. We've done 30 operation theatres, 25 Linux bunkers, about 5 million square feet of office development. So we've actually covered a lot of ground in the last number of years, and they're the type of clients that we work for a lot of blue chip clients. So I suppose just linking that then with what Anthony's going to talk about, just our experience from an ME perspective on BIM. I suppose for me, BIM started, I was with the Building Services Research Institute in the UK in '96, and we were writing documents for building service engineers, and we seen 3D design and modelling as the future of improving our productivity. And then probably roll on 10 years, we were lucky enough to work with a developer, forward-thinking developer in Sandyford. These were the guys that done the Beacon Hospital and Beacon Southwater, and they wanted to move away. I think they were a little bit ahead in their time in that they wanted to move away from actually designing and building spec buildings, and they wanted to build to order. And they seen 3D visualization where they could actually take a client in and actually show them the building and let them modify the building before pen ever went to paper. So they pushed us all into a collaboration suite. They called it the Beacon Hub, and we all had to provide people to work in that collaboration suite. They brought us over to see Lang & Rourke, where we're very advanced in the UK, and the Flew 40 was over in the flight. Spent a few days over there seeing what the guys were doing in the UK. And unfortunately, the Celtic Tiger fell away, but that was an interesting venture, and it got us thinking that that's where we wanted to be at. It's been a very steep learning curve. We've 70 people, as I said, 20% of them as part of Anthony's team. They're BIM technicians, and we're doing a lot of things right. We're doing an awful lot of things wrong. We're finding our way in it. Whatever people tell you, my own experience is that BIM costs us additional fees that we can't recover from our clients. But from our first BIM project that we done in London in '96, which probably cost us 6 times our normal fee, we have that probably down to plus 15%. So we're improving, and I think we have to move away from we're actually getting the BIM and Revit to be a replacement for CAD and the way we used to work. I think we need to move away that we're actually designing in BIM and rolling that out. That all of our engineers are designing in BIM from the first kickoff. One thing is working with a team, and I think what's very important is that from an M&E perspective, what kills us is actually going back and changing things. And I think staggered deadlines will really actually help, where the architect, civil structural engineer and architect are all going out to tender at the same time. I think they need to be staggered because the M&E is usually at the back end of that. So there's a number of other learning points that Anthony will take you through.
Hello. So just as an example of some work we've actually done, this is a 6 megawatt data centre we did here in Dublin. That's an 8 megawatt. We've done 18, and this is 16 megawatt, which was part of 96 megawatts delivered for the site. What we found from this, what we found works well, and like this is going to re-emphasise a lot of points that were already made. The visualisation is the first thing, for people to be able to see the problems early, and involves us getting involved very early and actually seeing, identifying the problems early, as opposed to they be normally identified later in the job by the contractors. What we have there is basically the research hub out in DIT, and again one of our data centres. Another thing that we found works really well is the whole collaboration part of BIM. As an industry, we're taught not to play together. We're taught not to deal with each other. We're taught for it to be very adversarial and everything like that. And I suppose what we find is that this tends to, by collaborating as a team, it does tend to, it helps with communication. And like initially I was very skeptical about the common data environments. Now I'm a huge fan. The likes of BC, 4 projects, 8 sites, brilliant. Just for a single source of truth, for being able to traceability, no more like, where did you save that file? I can't find this file. The other thing we found is like communication with the likes of systems like Autodesk Glue and even Skype for Business. Skype for Business is a great tool to actually have, to be able to ring up the architect, show him your problem on the screen and work out what the solution is turned in. There's no need for emails, there's no need for meetings, stuff like that. So again, we see a huge benefit to actually having the Skype for Business, and we have our designers talking directly with the architects and with the structural team. Coordination. I'm trying to avoid going on a rant about clash reports, but it may come out. What we tend to do first of all as a coordination, we found, is the walkthrough. A clash report won't tell you everything. You can have 2 pieces of equipment 10 mil off each other. It won't show up as a clash, but it's uninstallable. So what we tend to do is we tend to do the walkthroughs first, get the architects over, sit down, do a walkthrough first, and then, if needs be, we'll go to the clash report. I suppose what we find doesn't work so well initially is drawing quality. There's a lot of effort you have to put in to get, because everyone will have started in CAD, to get your CAD drawings to actually get your Revit drawings up to the same standard as your CAD drawings. Revit is primarily an architectural software, so there isn't a lot of thought put to M&E. So we've had to basically invest a lot of time and effort in actually trying to improve the quality of drawings and deliverables that we get out of Revit. The next bit is the engineering design. There's a perception in the industry, we see on a lot of jobs, that you put everything in and everything automatically comes out. From the likes of IES, to your specs, to your visualizations, the whole lot like that. The reality is the workflow is an awful lot more complicated. Do you know what I mean? And while it's improving all the time, we've all probably been sold stuff and said, but of course it'll work like this. What we find is there's a lot of work you have to do in the background to get your workflows right. And I suppose with the collaboration, what we've noticed is someone coming in and enforcing a workflow on a team generally doesn't tend to work. It's normally better if you come in with a collaborative approach, put together, what we find is put together what way you think you want to do it, and then let everyone commit and get a bit of buy-in to how the actual system should work. Documentation and reports. This is a massive bugbear of mine. Being asked to report on report on report. And I think like early days in a job, like people running clash reports on a 30% model is just an exercise in futility in a design that's going to change. And especially with the way a lot of projects are done now, they're done with the architectural, the structural, and M&E all supposed to be running in parallel at the same stream. If you were building this, I see some people have started to refer to BIM as VDC, Virtual Design and Construction. If you were building anything on site, you wouldn't have every trade show up on one day. So why do we have to have every drawing delivered on the same day? And that makes the coordination for us very difficult, and it puts a lot of pressure on both us and on the contractors that we deal with. The next aspect we know is, and there's one slide here, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it to you. You're only as weak, any project is only as strong as its weakest link. If the guy below you doesn't understand Kobe and you try to explain it and he doesn't understand it, well then that can be your problem. This main slide there is actually taken from what happened in the UK with HS2, where Mace decided that it actually train the whole supply chain. And while things are improving, it is a bit of a problem. It is like if we give a design, a Revit model out to a contractor who has no Revit capability, then, do you know what I mean? Is he better going back in CAD, or is he better continuing on in Revit? I actually don't know what the real solution is going to be. Like, everyone will catch up, but they're just not catching up at the moment. The last bit is time. Time, like, you can never give someone back time that you waste or you take from them. The Dilbert cartoon there is basically a traditional one. What if we throw more people at the job? Do you know what I mean? That's always a solution that's thrown, like, and like time feeds into price, feeds into quality. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time what we see on jobs that do struggle is they start off at early days and there's no decisions made in the job. And it gets to 60-90%, then there's a blind panic and it's throw more bodies on it and that'll fix it. Not necessarily that we'll always do. Look, these are the main things that we've taken. I suppose I joined Ethos 2 years ago, and I was elsewhere before then. One of the main things we started to look at was looking at PAS as the basis of a standard. And I don't know, does the pointer work with this now or not? But basically, the second slide here, the bottom slide on the right there, like, to me that's more important than the one slide above it. Like, and a lot of people get caught up in basically what's level 1, what's level 0, what's level 2, and I'm delivering level 3 and all this type of propaganda and stuff. What we find is basically that second slide is what your client wants and what your client needs. That's a more important slide to me, as in what information you're giving him, and it's actually basically it breaks down what you're doing and what you're getting, so everyone understands what you're coming away with. This has impacted on us, as in we've gone and looked at our drawing system, and again with a bit of a collaborative tone in it, we sat down, we said, look lads, we want to change the drawing system here. The way documents and drawings are named and numbered. Now I thought I'd come across massive resistance, but a lot of guys turned around going, yeah, I don't like our system at all, I prefer if we had a different one. Like. So with that, we sat down and we did a bit of buy-in. Like, it's a simple Excel chart we've worked on, and we've come up with a different way of basically numbering. The importance of an EIR and a BEP. First question we ask on any job when someone mentions BIM, do you have an EIR from the client? Do you have a BEP? 9 out of 10 times you get told no. But for some reason, people will continue to plow along with the job and say, yeah, look, we'll do it in BIM, we'll do this. Our latest thing to do now is we actually send them these 2 documents and say, look, go to the client, get that filled out. Like. So at least someone knows what they're getting their hands on and what they're going to have at the end of the day. Another thing we find, and this goes back to technology and training, everyone thinks you buy these 3, you buy AutoCAD, you buy Revit, and you buy Navisworks, and that's it. You're off, you're BIMing, you're the whole lot. What we found from an MEP and an engineering perspective, that's not necessarily true. Because the software, while it is great and it is improving, it isn't there yet. So we dipped our toe initially with buying apps and looking at what can save us time, what can take out repeatable tasks and things. So from a design point of view, we've gone away last year and we've purchased MagicCAD and started to roll it out, just to basically vastly improve the design capability of Revit. The bottom one there, Dynamo, is probably the biggest game changer, I think, in the software industry that's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years. If you're not doing it, get into it, because it's the time savers that we've seen from a point of view of sheet creation, from being able to check stuff. It's brilliant, and the most important thing, it's free. You don't have to pay someone to do it. If you train your staff up on it, like, we're lucky, I'm lucky in some of the team that I have, they're very keen to learn this, they're very keen to drive this. Again, a lot of Dynamo stuff is free and it's freely available on the internet. And suppose, look, this is the final one. I took the stupid out of this in case I insulted anyone this morning. But look, keeping it simple, like some people go in and they focus on it needs to be Kobe, it needs to be this, you need to use Calibri model checker, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to deliver what your client needs. And if your client's requirement isn't for Kobe, then why inflict it on the job? Do you know what I mean? I will accept that clients should be asking for it, but a lot of clients don't know what they could do with it even. So like one of the things that we try and do is like a lot of BIM execution plans can become basically monstrous documents very quickly because people start throwing in stuff. There's no problem with keeping it simple, keeping it straightforward. Just the job is difficult enough without complication. Look, I suppose that's my presentation. I've flown through it there now, but thanks very much.